And I realized this morning it's been a week that I had people over.
Time to throw a dinner party,
That's right. That's
okay.
right. It's time. And I really would like you to come up with a menu.
On today's menu, we are going to have a chicken strudel, roasted squash, and
Excuse me.
green beans.
I just remember yesterday I told you something about the pronunciation. It's strudel. Chicken strudel. ST in German is always
Strudel.
strudel. Very
Strudel.
good.
Even though there's nothing German about this.
I know,
Yeah,
but
okay.
the word is there, so
Alrighty.
that requires to be
Okay.
pronounced properly.
Thank you for correcting me.
Anytime.
And what are you making for dessert?
I have decided I'm going to make a chocolate mousse tart with different kinds of oranges and a spicy orange sauce.
Well, let's share with our viewers how we go about planning for a dinner party. First of all, I always think of the food. You need different textures, different colors, and you also need food that you can prep ahead of time or it's warming while the guests are here, because you do need to remember to be out with your guests when they're here. When you're hosting, you're in charge, so you need confidence for that, and we exude
Of
that,
course,
no problem
yes.
there. Everything you want is the way it's going to go. But we also want to share with you how to be a guest.
We are in charge of who are we inviting, of course. So we have to make sure that we know that the people are compatible. They don't need to know each other necessarily, but we have to know them and make sure that it's a good match all the time. As some people would say, know your audience. That's not only with what you're serving, but also who you're inviting. You mentioned something before about people bringing food. That is a sore point sometimes.
Yes, it is. So please do not bring food to the party unless you are assigned to do it. We're good about that.
Yes.
Yeah, we know who is capable and who is not.
We know the people who are always late, and we will never ask them to bring an appetizer.
That's right. So if you're an unassigned guest, you can bring a hostess gift, wine or something personal for the hostess, but do not bring food. That we're just emphatic about that. Let's get into the preparation of the meal. And first we're going to start with the squash. We're preparing Delicata squash, which is available more and more year round, but a lot of times it's just in the fall. But I was able to find it not in the fall this year. And this is what it looks like. It's got tender skin, and that's what makes it unique, that you can just eat the whole thing. And I would cut this down the middle, and there are seeds in it like any squash, and just core the seeds out. And there you go. And then you just slice them. And that's what I did here. These were smaller ones, so I decided not to cut it down the middle. We've got some rings, we've got some half rings here. So I've got that, goes in a bowl. And I'm just going to put some olive oil on it, because anytime you roast a vegetable, you need some kind of oil. That's what causes the browning. And the sugar in the vegetable or the fruit that you're roasting will also help brown it. This is important when you roast any vegetable. You don't want the pieces touching, because otherwise they steam and get mushy. But when you have them separated with some space, then they can roast, caramelize, and do what you want them to do. All right, so it's ready to go in the oven. Now we're going to start with the filling for the strudel, and first we're sauteing the vegetables that go in it. And as in every episode that we have, we talk about sauteing the onions, and so I always use olive oil. You could use butter, but I like olive oil. It's a little bit healthier. And I'm going to saute some onions, about that much. Okay, the onions are done enough. They've turned a yellow color, a little bit of browning, and so they're just right. And in this filling, you need to make sure they're done at this point the way you want them, because they're not really going to cook any further with the things I'm going to add. So next comes the garlic. And remember, you need to work with garlic pretty quickly because it burns really fast because of all the sugars in it. To get the sugars, you need to chop in a certain way. Smash the garlic clove, then the sheath on that will come off easily. But the main reason that you need to smash it is that the chemicals that make garlic unique in its taste come together when you smash it. If you didn't smash it and just diced it, it would be pretty bland. So that's what you need to do. And a lot of people don't know that, and it really can help a dish. And now we're going to add the spinach. And a lot of people don't like sauteed spinach, and I used to be one of them. And then I figured out why. What really bothered me, it grossed me out when I was eating it, were the stems. So whenever I saute spinach, which is quite frequently, I take all the stems off, and you can see I've done that here ahead of time. And I think that makes all the difference in the world. Spinach will cook down to probably about a third of its original size, so don't worry that we're going to be over spinached here. This is the right amount. Okay, that looks pretty good. I can't believe we have any wine left over from a past dinner, but we do, and I'm using that just to deglaze here a bit. And I always like to add some white wine. So there we are, and that looks good. I'm going to turn it off. I've moved the spinach aside so it can cool a bit so we can make the filling. And now we're going to move on to the green beans, which is pretty straightforward. Fresh green beans is the way to go. They're available year-round at the grocery store, in the summer at the farmer's market. And I went ahead and prepped these, as we need to always prep everything before we pull things together. Because we're having a dinner party tonight, I don't want people to have to be cutting much. They're going to be cutting some other food, so I don't want them to have to cut the beans. So this is an example of what kind of thought goes into what you make for a dinner party. All right, so the beans just go in, and a few tablespoons of salt. This is your only opportunity to salt them. You can't really over salt. And we're going to turn that till it boils and cover it there, and we'll come back to it when it's done, about 10 minutes. Now we're going to assemble the chicken strudel.
I like the way you say that.
We start with shredded white chicken. I like to use the deli chicken because it's already prepared, and it's from the rotisserie chicken, and it's nice and tasty. Then I'm going to take some of the spinach. Yes, I'm doing it with my hands. We often do a lot with our hands here. Okay, adding it in here. Then I've got some shredded Swiss cheese, and use a nice heavy white cheese because it's a nice flavor with the chicken. You need something to bring the chicken alive and the spinach alive. And then we have egg here, and that's going to be the binder. It's going to hold it all together. That looks like a pretty good consistency. You want it kind of wet. Got all that, that's what's going inside. And now I'm going to show you how to put it all together. And I need my filo dough.
There it is.
Thank you very much. And it comes, this is how it comes. It comes frozen. You need to thaw it before you're ready to use it. And it dries out pretty fast. So this is one thing I have no idea how to make. I think it's one of those things that is just best if you buy it pre-made. And it's really a little challenging to work with here. Okay. So down, this is the first layer, and I've got some olive oil. I'm just kind of wet it here. So between each layer of dough, then you have some oil that adds a little bit of crunch. So in the end, you get it really nicely browned. And you see, I'm not making them perfect because it won't matter once it's cooked. And I err on the side of a lot of layers because I really like filo dough.
I like the filo because it's so versatile. You can use it for savory food like this and also for something sweet.
Yeah.
Very much like puff pastry.
Okay, I've got 10 layers of filo dough here, and it needs to be enough to hold the heft of the insides, and that's about right. You can see that there. Just putting a little nutmeg here.
Just over?
Yeah, just over, thanks. Nutmeg and cheese go together really well.
You know those little nutmeg graters?
Yes, you can, but I then would cut my knuckles on that, so that's why I like this.
No, I like
but
this too.
either way, the end result is the same. Okay, now I'm going to roll this, and it's really pretty easy. It's almost like folding a diaper. And so I just do the ends like that, and then I roll this, and we're done. It's that simple. And then we're going to put oil on the top of it so that it browns. And this recipe makes 2, so I always do 2, but in this case, notice I saved out some of the spinach and onion, and because I am so accommodating to our guests, I'm making a vegetarian version that would be just assembled the exact same way as that with the chicken.
What else are you putting in then, instead of the chicken?
I'm not, just the spinach
Just
and onions.
more
Yes,
of this?
yeah.
Okay.
Tofu does not lend itself
Oh, no,
to
no,
this.
I would never
Yeah.
cook with tofu. I
Yeah,
don't like it. But I just thought maybe you would add another vegetable.
I could, but I'm not
But
today.
you don't? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay.
Everything is out of the oven and off of the stove, so we're ready to plate up. I'm going to start with the green beans, and they're cooked just right. They have a little crunch to them. It took about 20 minutes to cook those. And within this warm pot, I'm going to add a mustard vinaigrette that I made with a little lemon in it. So we're making a sauce there. And then I like to add some tomato just for some color because it's
Okay.
an awful lot of green. I'll save a little for the top there. Stir that up a bit. And then I'm going to put some fresh basil in, and I just tear that in. And there you have what that looks like. And just onto the plate, ready to
Okay.
go.
That looks good.
Okay.
Vinaigrette is great.
I'll set that over here. Okay, next is the squash. So see how it browned? I like things browned, but you do what you like. Some people might think this is too brown. I don't. I'm going to drizzle it with a little maple syrup. Whenever you're cooking with maple syrup, whether it's raw or you're roasting it in the oven, always use 100% maple syrup. Don't use the corn syrup types of things that you use on your pancakes. Use the real thing. I'm going to drizzle this a little bit. If I may.
Good.
Okay, all right, just kind of my hands here doing this. And plating here. And we're going to add a little bit to this, so we want it looking nice for display.
We have a saying in Germany, and it says, your eye is eating alongside your stomach.
That's exactly
and
true.
it's really true.
Yes, it is.
No matter how good something is,
Yes.
if the presentation or the consistency is off-putting,
Yeah.
nobody wants it.
And then got a little bit of feta cheese here. And then I roasted some pecans, little pecans here. And maple and pecans just go together so nicely. And then sometimes the plate gets a little dirty, and that happens even to professional chefs, so you just kind of clean the edge here, right? So that's ready to go. You know what, I think I'm going to put a little, because I have it here, a little thyme for some color.
And
Right.
flavor.
And flavor.
It just goes
That's
so
right.
well together.
Yeah.
Smells great.
And now we're ready to plate up and cut up and plate the strudel. This is the one with the chicken in it, and I did make one with just spinach in it, a baby version there. So it's best to use a serrated knife so that you aren't harming the filo. It's pretty tender, and so you just want it to look nice. Just like you would slice a roast. And I had let this cool just a bit because otherwise the cheese would just ooze out. So you can see it steaming here, but it's still nice and warm.
How long
too.
do you let it rest? About 5 minutes?
About 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. It holds the heat pretty well.
Mhm. It's really wonderful how just a little bit of green makes such a
Yes,
difference.
Yeah. Especially with that yellow plate here, it
Mhm.
goes really nicely.
Yeah, and I want
So-
people to know you don't have to spend a lot of money to decorate food.
That's right. Like, this is truly from my garden.
Yeah.
And I know you have a lovely garden too.
Yeah.
So whatever you've got, we'll set it there.
Can you reach?
Yep.
Okay.
And everything is plated. Now we'll move on to the dessert.
I'm heating up heavy whipping cream because I'm going to make a chocolate ganache. Cream is not supposed to boil. That would be too much. I'm just waiting for tiny little bubbles to show up on the edge. And when that happens, then it'll be ready to go into the chocolate. Okay? So the hot cream goes into 12 ounces of chocolate chips. And it's really important that you get semi-sweet or the one with extra cocoa, because this is supposed to be a chocolate mousse tart and it cannot be made with milk chocolate. Of course you can, but it's not good. It would be just too sweet. So it just takes a while to get it all incorporated and melted, but you can see how it's starting to dissolve. If it's not quite hot enough, like this seems to be, I'll just put it in the microwave for a couple of seconds. Chocolate is cold. Now it's time to put the whipped cream in here. Just fold it in. There's a little bit of sugar in the whipped cream, so that adds to the overall flavor.
So this recipe is reminding me of something I make, and you and I have known each other long enough that we've got some crossover recipes, or
No,
I have one, but it's not that one I used to make.
No, it's not a crossover. It's exactly your recipe.
Oh, okay. But you're zhuzhing it up.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the chocolate and the...
Yeah, because I recognized that in the cookies.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
have the sauce. That is from my cousin from Italy.
Okay.
She made that with a different dessert, and I don't know what it was, but I saw a picture and I asked her if she could send me the recipe for the
sauce.
chocolate sauce,
Yes,
and she did.
okay.
Yeah, so it's
All
really
right.
international. So I'm going to put the first layer into this pan, and you may see I put cellophane in it. And Anne, would you give me some of these cookies, please?
Sure.
Make sure it's all nice and even. Again, goes all the way to the edge. And then you layer the cookies in. The good thing is you can push them in all the way, and then of course you can also break them. There we go. Now you fold this back over. You can see it's full, it's covered. Now it goes in the freezer. I would say do it the day before, because it can be in the freezer for a couple of weeks. But if I wanted to serve it tomorrow, I would make it today, leave it in the freezer, and then take it out maybe 45 minutes before I want to serve it.
So now I'm remembering this dessert because I haven't made it for 10 years.
Yeah.
So, and now I'm remembering it's one of my favorite desserts. So
Took you that long, huh?
So thank you for making it.
Yes.
So it's going to go perfect with what I'm making for our dinner party.
See, I used them all up. I need some paper towels, please. Oh, look at that. Wonderful. Thank you. And when I bring that dessert over to cut it, I need, of course, a yellow plate, a small plate.
Voila!
Voila, she shoots from the hip again. Look at that. Okay, I'm done. We just have to wait, Anne. And when it's... You cannot drink by yourself. There. Don't do that. I don't see you often enough that you can drink while I'm here by yourself. Come on.
Cheers.
I'm going to cut an orange and fillet it for you. This is a cara, which I really like because of the pretty color, for one. And then also, they are a little bit milder and sweeter than the navel oranges. I use both for this dessert because of the two different colors. I enjoy the two different colors with the chocolate. So it's really important that you try to get as much of the white off as possible.
So you don't want a tart orange at all?
I personally don't.
Okay. Not tart like us.
Not like that, no. Which is really not the case. I think we're really sweet. For those who understand sweetness. Because there are not too many around, but that's their problem, not ours. So anyway, I have here also, I cut one up before into a round. It just depends on how well they cut. And then I can decide when I plate it later on which one looks best. That's done. Here are all the oranges. You can see the different color. I like the combination. And now I'm going to make the orange sauce that will accompany this dish. I have put 60 grams of sugar into this pot, and I'm waiting for it to caramelize. So the sugar will melt, and then it will start browning. Later on, I'm going to add some orange juice, and I try to get the temperature a little bit closer to what they are. That means I don't want to put cold orange juice into this hot sugar. Therefore, I heated it up a little bit, and I hope that will make the process a little bit easier. It's important that you stir. This is a crucial part because the sugar starts to clump together and get into really hard crystals. That's why I'm using a wooden spoon, so I can mash them up. So it's nice and brown. I'm going to take it off the heat and add the orange juice a little bit at a time. And you can see how it's one big lump of sugar here, but it will melt again. Going to add the rest of this orange juice, and then I'm going to add orange liqueur, cinnamon stick, star anise, whole cloves, and a little bit of vanilla powder. I don't want to use the liquid vanilla because it's just getting too dark. And that's it. We just have to wait until it is reduced by about half. That will take about 45 minutes. Here it is, Anne, from the fridge,
Whoa.
from the freezer, from the stove. Everything is ready. Look at that.
Excellent.
Looks great, doesn't it?
It does.
So now we're going to present this. I'm going to cut this just like a piece of cake.
So you don't decorate it the whole cake, you do it piece by piece.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
Yes.
All right.
The chocolate mousse is on the plate. I'm just going to add some orange decoration. And I've decided I'm going to use a little bit of everything. Since I have it, might as well use it. And some of the sauce, which is of course delicious. A little bit over here. That's it. I usually leave this on the table so people can add a little more of their own if they like. Dessert is ready. How about your part?
I'm all ready.
Then we can eat.
Let's invite the guests.
All right. Where are they?
The last time you came to visit me in Colorado, we unearthed a great controversy.
Another one?
Yes.
Oh my
It
goodness,
had
yes.
never come up before in our 30 plus years of friendship, and it was about how to set a table.
What was it about? Remind me.
We placed the silverware in completely different places. So I'm going to start with the way I do it, and then you can comment as you always will.
You know that I will comment and probably correct it.
This is how I set a table. I set it with the napkin here, the fold on the inside, and the edge on the outside, so that when you're sitting down, you can just open it up and put it in your lap. Then goes the fork on the left. If I had a salad fork, it would go on the outside, but we're not having that, so just your fork here. And knife here, spoon to the right of the knife. And all of the bottom of each item is level here. So you need to go around everywhere and level that out to make sure.
Well, that's how you do it, but I'll show you how it's done. I like to put it in the middle of the plate as well. And then the knife always goes to the right. The fork goes to the left. And we're having dessert today and coffee. These two go on the top. We're not having soup, therefore we don't need a soup spoon. So this is the way I set it. I agree the knife faces inward, the sharp side.
So Jutta, could you share with our viewers the importance of a knife at every meal? It's made the Fabulous Women Group's lore about how you impress upon us that we must have a knife at the table at all times.
As you might remember, a group of us went to a restaurant in Tacoma, and for the very first time I encountered that there was no knife on the table. It was a lonely napkin, probably paper, and a fork. And I asked the waitress, can I please have a knife? And she said, depends what you're ordering. Yeah, exactly. Oh, the worst part was I was telling that story to you and I was hoping for a flood of sympathy. I was hoping that you put your arms around me and say, let me get you a knife right now. But no, you didn't. You said, well, did you need a knife? And I was shocked because the very knife that was not on the table was in my bag, stabbed by you, my best friend. And I feel like that's awful. I will never forget that.
And then there's the question of stemware.
Yes.
So today we have a wine glass and a water glass. So the wine glass goes above the knife, and then the wine glass goes to the outside. Simple as that.
Yes, I agree. Because we changed the wine glasses, but we do not need to change the water glass. But here's the table. Oh, the candles, look. I think one on each side. Yes. Even though it's summer, I think a candle is never wrong.
Yeah, and it pulls everything together.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Colors.
There it is.
Very
And
nice.
one more thing about the ironing, you can see the creases in here, proof that it's ironed. It's pretty, I like the colors, it all goes together. And now we need our guests and we need some food. Then we're done. And of course, we cannot forget our dessert. Actually, I plan my meals around the dessert. Dessert is always the first thing that comes to my mind. And once that's done and set, then I can start with the rest.
The other